Right then. Um, for the last 2 years, you two have been the undisputed kings of proving grounds. Um, a partnership forged back in the gym when you used to work together, and then you've been unbeatable on the competition floor. This year, everything's changed. Fraz has took a step back. Archie's stepping up with a new partner. It's all different this year. It's all different. But let's build this story out a little bit more. How how did you two come to like be competing together? Let's go down that route to begin with.
Um, we started working together just post COVID. There was like a reshuffle of stuff in our gyms. Archie originally worked in our Dundee gym,
Yeah.
but we wanted him St Andrews, so we ended up coming over and working in St Andrews full time. Um, he was like an aspiring competitor, if you want to say that, at the time, because he was only young. I mean, he's still only young, but he was like very young
I
then.
was a whole 130 kilos of man at that point, so they were just aspirations then.
Big.
And I'd obviously been doing it for quite a while by that point. So feel like it was just nice to have a training partner and like to get a bit of a push.
Mhm.
I feel like it was a good push for me and probably a bit of a learning experience for young Archie at that time.
Have you got anything to say on this matter, Archie? Anything to add there?
Yeah, no, it was true. I came back from lockdown with, I think, some pretty steep aspirations of I wanted to compete. I wanted to train more, and I'd never really seen that side of things. So Fraz was kind of like the first glimpse into competitive CrossFit, and like, if you want to be more than uh, training in one class per day, what does that look like? And yeah, there was definitely some tough workouts in there, some wake up calls. I think we definitely bucked heads now and then, but it was definitely a good experience overall. So, and then yeah, like just the way that me and Fraser are, I think we became quite competitive, which pushed both of us. Like to start off with, there was only really about one thing I could compete with him on, which was a stationary effort max lift. But as we kind of unlocked a couple more things, it definitely got a bit more competitive. And I think that, yeah, that definitely kept us both going and pushed us both, which is good.
What do you mean you butted heads?
Can I tell this story now?
Yeah, but you're going to tell it in your way. So
Well,
yeah, go.
to sum up, like it didn't often be, it wasn't often like this, but quite often the way the schedule in the gym worked, you would be like trying to fit something in like an hour between two classes. And at that time we had like there was like a little group of us, like one of the other coaches, and then there was another couple who would like kind of jump in. And there was one day we programmed that was like variations of like the workout 19.2. So it was like double unders, toes to bar, and then ascendingly heavy cleans.
Yeah.
Now, for anyone who's come to know Archie, a long warm up protocol, particularly when it comes to something that's going to be heavy at the end. And yeah, so it was like a 30-minute workout, and we're like, yeah, we've got a class coming in. We need to be done by the time the class is done. So, by this point already, I knew Archie well enough that I was like, I need to say that we're starting 10 minutes before we are actually starting because he'll run over. So we basically start bang on. This is like 30 seconds, no more. We can't go, otherwise we're running into the class. And Archie's like, I need to go to the bathroom. I was like, well, the clock's going on. So clock goes on, and like we've started the workout, and Archie's like running out the bathroom like Baywatch style to get to his toaster bar station, and you can tell he's raging. Um, and I'm like, I'm into this now. But like, do you know when you're just like doing something and you know like the atmosphere's off?
Yeah.
And I was like, he's properly annoyed about this.
Mm.
But because he's properly annoyed about it, I'm getting annoyed about it. And it, like this is where it's like at times I feel like it's a bit like a father son relationship where it's like I'm only annoyed because he's annoyed, and then it's just like gradually spiraling into this thing that's worse. So we get into like this like interval break, and I turned to him, I was like, Archie, if you don't fix your attitude right now, I'm going to strip your plates off your barbell and I'm going to put them away, and I'm going to carry on the workout. To which only made things worse, because Archie being Archie and like kindly knowing like where his strength is, like he turns to me and is like, I'll see you on the last barbell. And I was like, sorry, what are you talking about? So we go to the workout, and by this point, the other people that are doing this with us are like, stop it, like this is supposed to be fun and training. I'm like, nah, this isn't fun anymore. It's like, and like, I'm self-aware enough to know it's like, at the heavy barbell, he's going to beat me.
Mm.
But I was like, I'm going to make a point out of this. So we get to the last barbell. It's like 143 kilo clean, and we get off the toaster bar and the double unders at exactly the same time. And I'm just gonna hit it before he does. I was like, that's the win I'm taking. So he like does like his setup, and I'm like, this is probably the biggest risk I've ever taken in my CrossFit career. So then I turn and I hit it, and it's just one of those where I turn to him and I'm just like, have that. And it's like, it's the only one I hit. I think he went on and hit it like 5 times, but I was like, I'm taking this moral compass victory right now. But then I think it was good, because that to me stands out as a moment where it was like we were able to butt heads and see each other's point of view in the dispute that followed. So there was outside me giving Archie a waggy finger, and then I got Archie's perspective on the matters, and we kind of agreed to disagree, and that was that. So,
what, Archie, I'd like to hear your point of view of this story, and if there's any key details Fraser's missed out.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, most of that is true, unfortunately. Definitely some mistakes were made looking back now, but in the moment, I was sure I was right, or in the right anyway.
you just thought you were being sabotaged.
It was my perspective that at that point, I wasn't beating Fraser at very many workouts, and I think he quite liked that. And I think this was one that I could definitely beat him at. So I think there was maybe a wee bit of hurry up, potentially, to try and make sure that I didn't. But just me being me, like I was getting pumped up for the lift. I was getting as competitive as usual. So I didn't. The conversation that we had during that first rest interval could never have gone well. Like, it was only ever going to serve to wind us both up. So, which it did. But yeah, it was kind of a outside, have a conversation, and then we can move on from that point. But probably some mistakes made there. But
we've come a long way since then.
I think that environment definitely did push us for the most part. There were some times like that. They were pretty rare. But for the most part, I think it was definitely like a good push. I've certainly missed it since we've stopped training together as much. So,
it's cute, that.
Oh, that's
good. Without getting too sentimental. Yeah.
Well, judging by that kind of story and the training environment that you had in the gym, I can't imagine there's obviously not as much pressure in that environment than there is when you're competing. So how did it end up you competing together for the first time? Like, are similar things happening those first few times that you compete together? When did you first compete together? What competition was it? Yeah.
So what have we done? So the first year we were supposed to compete at Proving Grounds in 2022.
Okay.
So we'd done the qualifiers, and that year there was like quite a lot of like pairs events in the qualifiers. But pre that, I'd done it was tech at the time, but Hugh was the other boy in our team of 4.
Right.
And we nearly Archie nearly came because Hugh was injured, and then Hugh like just made it. So then when it came to Proving Grounds, that's kind of how the conversation started. It was like, oh, for Proving Grounds, like maybe I should go with Archie. So we did the qualifiers, and it's funny. There's also if you can find it to attach to this, there's a very funny qualifier video, which I think like probably summed up um like a bit of the learning experience like that we went through in that first year, where it's like there's a really horrific qualifier, and just there's a clip at the very end where like Archie's done, and I walk up to him and we're doing synchro box overs, and I'm like, Archie, you need to move, and he's like not moving, he's about to be sick, and I just come up and I like slap him. I was like, you you need to you need to move. And it's like literally the most like painful set of box overs you've ever seen. And like I still to this day like don't know how he kept the sick down.
So you slapped him back down by the
Yeah.
sound of it.
But I think like in that is like just the more training you kind of do, the more you figure out. And I think like as like we did more together, you just kind of learn to know like what makes each other tick, and things, particularly like things not to do, like things that you can do, and there's just like a certain dynamic that the relationship falls into that just becomes second nature. Because I think there was probably even like a fairly considerable difference from like 23 to last year in terms of like how we were able to work that, and it was just like how we both grew individually, but then also as like with an understanding of each other.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, we ended up not getting to do 2022.
Is that because of the box jump overs?
No, no. Archie was kissing too many girls.
Okay.
He had
That was the part we
Is it
weren't
your-
going to
young
the
lad-
cast. Yeah.
he had got glandular fever. What was that? About 10 days before.
Yeah, tonsillitis and glandular fever.
And at that time they did like a big endurance event in the gym beforehand.
Right.
And like I actually think that like come the finals, he was probably on the mend at that point. But like based on what that endurance event was, like, and like obviously I could see him like if he came into work, it's like I could see him. It was like you probably shouldn't even be here. Like never mind, like actually putting yourself through this 32 minutes of hell. Like it was just like 16-minute ski, 16-minute row, on tonsillitis and glandular fever, and it's just like at 21 years old, you're like, yeah, in terms of the long game, it's probably not worth it.
Yeah, for sure. So we didn't manage to do proving grounds in 2022, obviously. Then 2023, what happens? Like we go from not even being able to be there to then winning.
We tried to have a start going team that year in the game season.
Okay, right. So you've done quite a lot of training that
whole
year.
calendar year.
Okay.
And I think that year we shared a lot of similar frustration.
Right.
Because we were close, but not close enough.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think we were in the same boat in terms of like we felt like it was a missed opportunity.
Okay.
So then it was like, well, there has to be someone else. And then I think like I went to we both went to proving grounds in 22, and I think we both left feeling, well, if we could have gotten to the start line, we would have won it. The events were good for us.
Yeah.
Just like it was just misfortune. So when it came to 2023, it was a no-brainer that we were going to do it again.
How in that year, like from potentially being there in 2022 and Archie holding his sick down to winning in 2023, like what for you guys like really came on in that year to again, like the level of competition goes up year upon year, but how were you two kind of staying ahead of that curve in your minds?
Um, I that was my first full year of working for JST.
Right.
And in my first full year of working for JST, it wasn't only like coaching that like went up. It was like the amount of resources I had available to me to like be like a better athlete just made so much easier. And I was at that point I was coached by David.
Right. Okay.
So like probably the one and only time in my career that I've had a coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, just like the structure and how stuff was put together.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And are you coaching Archie at this point as well?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So we very much like trained on our own when we needed to, but trained together when we needed to.
And what do you mean by that?
Like our individual weaknesses are very different,
Yeah.
but intensity is intensity. So
Yeah.
you need it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you got those moments like where there's a bit of competition on the right stuff, and then if you've got your weaknesses in check, you're pretty much ticking each other's box, like every box you need to. And I think like we were both in the understanding that both of us had our own training taken care of, because I think that's a big one in entering into team is like it's hard to really buy into it if you're second guessing what the other person's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's easy for me because I controlled what Archie was doing.
Yeah.
But also I think probably for Archie, and he'll probably tell you himself, but like just knowing that like I had my
Training.
like training together as well, makes the process of buying in quite easy. So
What's your 50p, Archie?
Yeah, I would say the same. To be honest, I would think like 2020, 2022, if we'd shown up, if there was a reason why we didn't win, if we're both being quite honest, I think most of the whole would have been mine. So I think like bringing us up to standard was very much like Fraser started working with JST. We both kind of saw like what was actually doable. Of like you get a glimpse of training, you get a glimpse of performance, you get a glimpse of volume and like what can be expected for the caliber that we both want to be at.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was just making sure that like we can always guarantee that put me and Fraz in the same room, I'll probably do something silly in the pursuit of trying to beat him, and then he would probably do the same. He's usually a little bit better at pacing than I am, but whereas like making sure the bits that we didn't need to compete on and we wanted to focus on ourselves, we did was separate. So it's like me learning my gymnastic capacity, me trying to do some conditioning, things like that. Whereas it's like when we want to come together, we use that atmosphere for what it's worth. And use that push. But there's definitely times where like that would have been detrimental if we were trying to work on our own individual weaknesses. Like me and Fraser doing a squat session together probably doesn't help a whole lot, as much as like us doing burpee box jump overs together to try and make sure that intensity was there for the next qualifier. So I think definitely using it where we need it, but also making sure that we kind of we honed in on our own weaknesses.
Just to like put this in kind of terms that people following JST Athlete can also understand for us, because for the bespoke guys, obviously it's taken care of. You obviously kind of take care of Right and Compete. What, like, if say you've been preparing for Proving Grounds next week, which days would you have picked where it's like, right, I need to get a group of people together for this day or for this session and this session, like in your mind?
always a whiteboard workout.
Okay.
It's your real like life, like this is competitive CrossFit in a nutshell. And we always like try to make that like as lifelike as possible. That's the workout in the week where you would like set it up like a competition floor. If you have to advance barbells, you do it like make it as lifelike as possible. At the minute, I think it's the other sessions are either the other leaderboard workout, because you can do the same with it. But then some of those progressions, and I think it depends where where your weaknesses lie.
Yeah.
So we're obviously doing the running echo bike
Yeah.
intervals, which like may obviously have prescribed set paces, but I'm sure at some weeks they're quite hard to hold.
Mhm.
So having a group of people just to like hold you accountable to those paces more than anything else.
Yeah.
And then the sessions on your own are like the skills and the weightlifting bits. It's like you concentrate on what you need to get better in your lifting and your gymnastics and stuff.
Mhm.
And that's going to make all the difference.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Cool. Coming back to you both, like, so you won Proving Grounds 2023. Same again in 2024. I feel like when I look at the leaderboard in 2023, you won by quite a bit, but 2024 was a different story. It was very, very close. Do you want to walk us through like a few experiences from 2023 that stick out in your minds, and then let's fast forward to 2024 and yeah, kind of similar question there, same question.
So in my head in 2023, it was ours to lose.
Okay.
I think particularly once we knew the workouts.
Right.
It's like I looked at the workouts and I was like, there'd have to be something seriously go wrong for us not to win this. And then particularly made a bit easier when our closest competitors pulled out.
Right.
So
Okay.
Johnny and Sammy pulling out obviously makes life considerably easier. But I'll go out on my shield here and say I would have been fairly confident anyway.
Stirring the Scottish pot here for us.
Yeah. and you know, it's like I like solely believe in like like momentum's everything.
Mhm.
So like knowing that we had like a heavy thruster ladder into a max clean and jerk is like two events like not because of me, but it's like event that like I sit here confidently being like we would win that.
Yeah.
And then the next one definitely helped by me on that one was like the 3K row.
Okay.
And I'm like with those two being the first two events, I was like all the momentum is going in our direction.
Yeah.
I think then with the only real seed of doubt that came to my mind last year was that or in that year was that on the kind of gymnasticy third event, someone got in between us and Harry and Tommy, so like they were first and we were third.
Okay.
So then it was like that's not ideal because you just like if it's a two-way race, it's like just stay a place behind them.
Yeah.
So then it came down to that like interval one with like the legless rope climbs, and probably everyone knows the one I'm on about because there was a thing on social media of me when we finished it. We were the only male team to finish it, and on my last box over, I do like a big celebration to finish it.
Yeah.
And it, you know,
If you haven't watched that video, I suggest everyone goes and watches it
yeah, it gives me the
for
ick now, to be
viewing
honest.
pleasure.
You've got some links to send me here, Fraz.
Yeah, it gives me the ick now, to be honest. But do you know? What I can tell you the reason for the celebration was because we'd practiced or I'd practiced like the intervals.
Okay.
And like on practicing, I remember like doing it and texting Archie, being like, Archie, no one is finishing that.
Yeah.
But I'd obviously been practicing to 15 foot for the legless rope climbs.
Yeah.
And then on the day, it was like nowhere close to 15 foot. Because it was literally like, for me as like 6'3", it was like jump, like one pull touch on the first one, particularly with like a big run up. But then actually it transpired that like we actually won that quite comfortably, and really we won it because we could both rebound our box overs.
Right. Okay.
Gone are those days. You never get to do that anymore. But
How-
basically,
how mental is it that just like I remember 2015 to like pre-COVID, everyone could rebound box jump overs no problem from what I remember, and I feel like since COVID it's been like no one can rebound jump overs anymore. What's going on?
Well, obviously, I guess it's the safety thing.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Speak to James Jowsey about that. He's got a right
Yeah,
being on it about that one.
yeah. But I think at that point it's like once we had won that one, like in actual fact, by the time the final came around, we were on a victory lap.
Yeah,
But I think even on that, because we joined and won the final, and that probably showed where we were at that point. Was like, yeah, we might have won this, but we're winning the final to make sure everyone knows that we're winning.
yeah, yeah,
Um, so yeah, I think like my big thing of 2023 was like momentum, was just after like knowing like how knowing that what the first two events were, and we're like, yeah, this is ours to lose at that stage.
yeah. Did you feel the same, Archie?
No, but I
No,
don't think I ever would.
go on.
I think in the team, Fraz always provides the confidence. Um, I would say that I was far less confident. But to be honest, like that was kind of the first comp that I'd ever been to, being like, let's try win it. So that mindset was definitely a bit of a switch. I kind of knew that we were going to start on some bankers of like, thrusters would always be pretty good. So like I'd be pretty disappointed if we didn't win those.
Yeah,
Row, I'd be pretty disappointed if we didn't win those. But then I'm like, I have no idea. Like I never competed against Harry, never
yeah,
competed against Johnny before. So it was like, right, how do we stack up against these guys in person? Obviously, like was pleasantly surprised, but I wouldn't say I was confident that we were going to win it till the final. When it was like mathematically, we just didn't have to absolutely tank it to lose. So,
yeah.
yeah, I don't think I've ever really felt quite as sure of it. But I think yeah, like we went in with high expectations for sure.
Were there any arguments that weekend?
I don't think so.
No, it's good. That's a win as well.
Not that I remember. I feel like it was more of a yeah. We both kind of knew our jobs and we knew what we had to do. I feel like we've always been pretty good for like when we actually get into it. It's like we know that we're putting team first, and then we can deal with our other shit afterwards. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
very good.
I think in 2023, I think 2023 it was quite a lot of me being like, Archie, this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah,
But then I think like come 2024, the conversations you start to have are a bit different, where it's like, we both kind of know what each other's capable of,
mm,
but it's like Archie's saying what like I think we should do this. I'm saying I think we should do this, and then for the most part we agree on stuff.
okay.
So it's like you've just learned by doing enough stuff together. It's like you know exactly where you're at.
Yeah,
I think we probably always have that expectation of we should be splitting this stuff down the middle.
yeah,
But in actual fact, it's probably like, and for the most part, we have the capability of splitting all the workouts down the middle,
mhm.
but that's likely not the best way for us to do it.
Yeah,
And in
yeah,
2024, like the clean ladders are in 24 is a good example of that. It's like we could get a time if we just split stuff down the middle, but when you've got Archie there, it's like I'll change his plate for him and clap him all the way, you know.
yeah.
So yeah, I think yeah that dynamic certainly changed between 23 and 24, which was interesting because in that year in between, like we didn't train together.
Right. Okay. So there was less training in that time, less training together in that time.
I think it's the more questions you've got opens up the opportunity to like have disagreements. I think 23 it was like, well, we know in practice this is what happens, so this is what like we're both on the same page for our game plan.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like going into 24, it was like, well, Fraz has done this workout at this pace, I've done this workout at this pace. We've had good and bad experiences along the way, and then that's kind of formed what we think should happen. So I think that kind of opened up the door for a bit more of like, yeah, we definitely had conversations 24 of like, I maybe thought this, Fraser thought that, and then I think we were both quite happy of like, it would be pretty rare that one of us was so adamant that we couldn't compromise as long as there's some logic to it. Yeah.
How, like, can you give some examples of how you, because most people there'll be a lot of people that go proving grounds or any pairs competition and they don't have the ability to train together. So what, like, things did you two do? Archie's kind of mentioned, you maybe test the workout, you know your pace and stuff. Is there anything else that you felt like you could do to, like, give the other person an indication of, or ways in which you can still kind of train together without being together? Do you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah. So I guess like we did align, like Archie saying, we aligned training. So like on certain days we did similar stuff,
Okay.
and then because we're not together, it's like you just have to communicate as best you can. So it's like around those days, like getting as much information like to each other about the workouts and stuff, and it's not just times and how you broke it up. It's like, right, I'm feeling this at this point in this workout. Like, you become like the coach's dream, like with each other, so that you have as much kind of information to draw upon when it comes to game day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the key was just how much we communicated.
Okay. So then fast forward to Proving Grounds 2024, and you've got pretty stiff competition with Johnny and Harry there. Was the level of confidence there, Fraz, that you had the year before?
Well, I feel like I need to rewind because
Okay.
there's actually a bit of a story that some people know this story, and I haven't probably really shared. But like between 23 and 24, I tried to qualify team again. I tried to qualify team with Johnny, and Archie pursued individual that year. So after we didn't make it to semis, we missed it. We were close again, but not close enough. I actually took a bit of a slump, and I basically stopped training.
Right.
Because
One
I
of
was
Fraser's 7 retirements.
yeah, I'd stopped. Yeah, I had a goal in mind. I didn't hit it, and I was just really put out. So mentally, I wasn't there for that. We had kind of agreed that we would go back and do Proving Grounds in 24, but I was detraining. I was detraining hard, and then the boys from Proving Grounds invited me to go and do the qualifier announcement. So there was a couple of things about that do you know, just ignites a bit of a fire.
Yeah.
So they invited me, but they didn't invite Archie.
Oh, burnt there, Archie.
It was for a barbell cycling event as well.
For a barbell cycling event, and a max lift. Which I'm
I
sure
have enough Instagram followers. That's fine.
I'm sure it was just a bit of oversight from the boys, in all honesty. But then after we'd done the live announcement, of which, bear in mind, I hadn't really trained. I did have an insight into the workout. I can publicly come out and say I did have an insight into the workout. So I had practiced.
Okay.
But I was I hadn't been training.
Yeah.
So I did all right in it. It was the boys, we all finished the first bit basically together. I lifted okay, was up there for what I would have expected to lift. But then we were cooling down after the event, and bless them, it was Harry and Johnny, unfortunately, the vibe I got from them was that it was they'd already won it.
Oh, right. Okay.
And I remember sitting on the bike after the event watching the girls, and I wasn't watching the girls, in all honesty. I was incessantly texting Archie being you ought to hear this.
Do you know what? I feel like I remember a little bit of this as well, actually.
And I can only imagine what Archie was sitting at home. He's well, I'm not even there. And now you're giving me this information. Like, he must have been furious.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was just like, nah. I was like, I'm dropping everything to do this. I was like, I've detrained, but I am training hard and for this. And I was like, sorry, Jen, I'm not making dinner till 9 p.m. I'm going back to the gym to do 2500s on the ergs.
Were you fuming, Archie? What were your feels at that point?
Well, I think Fraz got a couple of stories from the years of. I think he knows ways now to make things quite personal for me, which usually leads to quite an emotional reaction, which can give me quite a lot of buy-in. So, I think he probably knew what he was doing by confiding in me about what he's hearing.
Presumably, you didn't already have picked. You hadn't picked another partner. Presumably, at this point.
No, I would have. Yeah, well, I mean, it was still my intention that we were going to do it. It's just what quality we were going to do it at.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. To be honest, for me as well, like, it'd been quite the gym that we had both worked at before had closed. It was a bit of a kind of up in the air time, so my training wasn't the best either. But we both certainly, still definitely wanted to do it. It's just, whether or not we had the quality to be there again, was the question.
Yeah. Okay.
And Jack, that was actually a question. It was like if we're doing this, like, how seriously are we doing this? And then, like, off the back of that, like, as funny as it is now, we're like, well, we're all like, I'm all in. Like, yeah, I'm absolutely all in.
12-week boot camp. Is that? I presume it would have been around that, like 12 weeks to get ready and that.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I trained hard enough that I put myself in hospital after Proving Ground was done.
Well, yeah,
so.
that is true as well. Right, so 10 weeks till 2024. Do you get a bit more training together, or do you was it again not as much?
So I think at that point, I was somewhat okay about the lack of training we were doing together, because I think in my head I was just like, well, like, we've done enough of this. Like, provided we get something in, like, it'll just click. But that doesn't play to Archie.
Okay.
Because I think, like, once I have, like, kind of certain things, I can kind of wing it. Like, once I've got an understanding, I can be like, yeah, like, fine. Whereas Archie's, like, not really that way inclined. And Archie was probably, like, a bit more stressed about it than I was.
Yeah. Would you agree, Archie?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Getting hold of him was definitely hard during that time. I felt we just have quite different mindsets going into stuff. Like, I really enjoy, like, the nerves I get on the lead up to a comp, because in my head, like, we couldn't be doing enough. We'd have to be doing more, and then they fade a wee bit on comp day, but that leads to probably a lot of headaches for whoever my teammate is, which at the time was Fraser. So, I definitely wanted to do a wee bit more team training. I was a bit worried about where my fitness was, where his fitness was. So, I definitely wanted a wee bit more team training, but we got some sessions together. I think we got 2.
Right. Okay.
I think it was 2 or 3.
Enough to kind of brush up.
Yeah, and, like, to be honest, we trained together for 3.5 years, twice a day, most days. So it's like we knew each other pretty well.
Riding a bike.
It was just me more being like, I also missed the environment. So it was like, as much as I wanted to do team training, like, I wanted to go and be put, in the blender a wee bit before actual comp day. Like, I didn't want my first kind of being thrown in the deep end experience to be with, a crowd. So that was definitely part of it, is I wanted the intensity that I knew we would get by training together.
Yeah, I get that. Well, so right, coming to the event, unless you got something else to throw in here for us.
Nah.
Should we, like, 2024 Proving Grounds? You there? What's the vibe? Like you said, Johnny and Harry were feeling pretty confident, when you first saw them, and then qualifiers. Fast forward to Proving Grounds. What's the vibe?
I walked in, I was like, there's some good events. There's some events where, like, we don't know how this is going to shake up. But the like you were saying about the leaderboards, the field had all of a sudden just gone like this.
Yeah.
Because not only did you have like Harry and Johnny, but you had Dan and Moz.
Yeah.
You had the two boys from 80/20 that had been to the games in 23. You had James and Steph.
Yeah.
So like you had like semi-finalists and games athletes and like some of the best UK kind of
And
around.
Chaz and Keel's TV,
And
and Fraser
Chaz and
said
Keel's.
was going to be us at
I
the
was wondering
barbell
if you were going to
workout.
mention them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were like laying it on thick, and then unfortunately we got a penalty in with qualifiers. So they finished a place above us, and this was just like fuel to the fire of like how they were gonna beat us. And then it became like, and it was funny because it got a bit of reaction because people like on the day, people kept coming up to me and they were like, "Are you worried about Chaz and Kilos?" And I'm like, "Well, like I hope not." But like they have come on a lot, but I was like, I really hope not. But like they obviously they generated enough hype to like make people think. But in actual fact, Chaz and Keel's TV were actually the ones that did us a favor. It was yeah. So we'll get there, but they ended up being Kilos in particular was the one that sealed the deal for us.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll get to that. So you start workout, like you win workout 1, right? Third in workout 2, and then 2 bullets, and then a second. So first day you get a first and a third, and Harry and Johnny get a second and a first. What year feels? What's like the vibe after, during and after day 1?
The second event of that day,
Muscle ups and snatches, right?
yeah, was one that
Yeah.
it probably highlighted where I had been at
Okay.
because we make a call on the floor, which was like just totally went against everything that we would have done normally, and it was probably a sign of like where my confidence was at in the training that I'd done. I was like, I trained really, really hard, but when you actually get there, you're like, oh, have I done enough? And it was like ring muscle ups are a real strength. Like at that time in particular, were a real strength of mine, and we agreed that we were going to go back and forward across the 5 sets, but I was going to do the 3 sets.
Okay.
And I like just the pace that workout happened, like I got hammered. And really it was the pace on the dumbbell. I couldn't live with Archie's pace on the dumbbell. So I was just getting flattened and flattened and flattened. And I turned and I was like, I don't know that I've got 6 ring muscle ups, I'm broken. And I was like, we have to go unbroken.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then yeah, so I turned to Archie, I was like, man, I need you. And he was like, okay. And
You didn't. You said you go rings. There wasn't a question in there.
But even then, like to tell you like how gassed out I was like I was locking out on the bar muscle ups like basically at the same time as he was locking out the rings, like
Right.
that. Like I was hammered, and it was just like the first workout had just taken so much out of me,
Right. Okay.
and it was just that lack of like volume of training over like a prolonged period of time.
Yeah.
There was just like 2 as intense bursts of work as what we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just massively caught up on me.
Because again, you or I, Fraser, you chuck us in the deep end for one workout, and we can dig it.
You've done enough CrossFit. It's like you can pull intense out of the bag once.
Yeah. Chuck another one in. It's different kettle of fish.
and that was exactly it.
It was
So,
tight. It was tight as well because like the next 2 teams were within 5 seconds of you as well.
yeah.
But could have been easily like a 4th, 5th there, and different result. But yeah, okay. So stiff, tough finish to day 1. But
So
is
we
the
had
comp,
the,
is
so
the
we
comp,
had, we had the clean ladder that night as well.
oh, okay, right, okay.
I mean, Archie had the clean ladder.
Oh. Did he do all of it?
No, the GST reel did me dirty though. I'll never forgive Philroy for that.
Where are
Which
you? Where are you at here, Archie? Because obviously, with your training, you'd obviously said that, like, how much are we going in? Had your training volume dropped a lot before that kind of lead up to proving grounds? How did you feel after the first two workouts, knowing that, right, this next one, it's kind of on you here?
So first one was definitely like for me a win. Like I think I came off that first one pleasantly surprised. Like for me, the mindset before comps was probably not great. Is like every bad possibility is going ahead of like us getting last and not even finishing the workout. So I think I was a bit more positive coming off the first one. I didn't think that we were going to be able to keep up with some of the boys. It was a bit of like a range of motion workout. So it
Yeah,
was like I wasn't quite sure if we'd be able to hang with that one, but we did. Um, Going on to the snatch and ring muscle ups, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I thought there was a little bit of a point to prove there because we somewhat had a suspicion that maybe synchro muscle ups had been put in to take advantage of the fact that one of us is potentially a lot better ring muscle ups at that point than the other person. So I think the fact that we were able to still do it, like I was definitely fired up going into that workout and coming off the back of it, I was like a wee bit annoyed that we didn't quite get to do as well as I thought we could. So yeah, first workout was a positive. Second workout, a bit of frustration. There was also a celebration off the back of the second workout from my now teammate. That definitely added a wee bit of fuel to the fire for the clean ladder. I felt like I could have run the fucking brick wall on that clean workout. So, yeah, I think going into the cleans, it was like, right, we're gonna put a full stop on this day,
yeah,
and pretty good statement of intent for the rest of the weekend.
yeah.
And then coming off the back of the cleans, we knew we were going into that gauntlet.
Okay.
So it was like machine workout, like stuff that I think we were both pretty confident on. Yeah, Fraz was pretty confident on as well. So I think we knew we were going into two workouts. I think we could set some momentum, get some steam behind us. So
Okay.
yeah, I wanted the clean workout to go well. I was quite pumped up for the cleans.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
I'd practiced that clean ladder so many times,
Okay.
and
He was doing it like twice a day at one point.
I was just like, and basically, it was just it was basically like I guess we thought people were going to be closer to us on it than they were,
Yeah.
and it was like, if I miss a lift, what's it going to cost?
Yeah.
Like because I'm right in the line.
Yeah.
So we were just figuring out the risk factor on that.
Okay.
Like for us, it's like whatever I leave Archie, like he's going to do, but it's like there is a way in which you can do it the fastest way.
Yeah.
So I would just like, yeah, anytime I had like a free 10 minutes, I'm like, yeah, I'll just try it. It was like,
Okay.
what's the quickest way of getting there? And it was like whether the decision was made how many reps I'm doing at 120. It was like
Yeah.
I either just do a single or I do a double, and
Yeah.
Archie does a double
Okay.
because he was just going to do the two at the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, just at any opportunity, I was trying that. So yeah, we knew that I guess the success of the weekend I felt hinged on how other people helped us,
Okay.
particularly through those two, because I'm like, I'm confident that we can win these
Yeah.
because they're two good workouts for us. But I also believe that some people can come in between us.
Yeah.
And so I was looking at like Charles and Kieran on the lift one in particular to get in between us, and it's just like 5 points of breathing space.
Yeah.
And then particularly on that gauntlet one, I was like, Harry and Johnny are not big,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
there's some big animals. There's some big erg animals out here, and it was like Pete and John Barry and Charles and Kieran again and Stephen James. I'm like, these are some people who like could actually just about put this to bed for us right now.
Yeah.
So like by Sunday morning after that first event, like again, you see it as like we finished that gauntlet and I am fuming. Like I'm obviously happy that we've won, but I'm like,
No
do you
one's
know
done
you're
the
just like,
job.
yeah, it's like someone do us a favor. And I
Yeah.
think I say it to Rob, and who's the camera guy. He's like, "Oh, you're happy," and you can just tell I'm like, I'm annoyed because I'm like, I really hope that someone would do us a favor here,
Yeah.
knowing that like the last two workouts of the weekend, like we didn't know the final at that point, but
Yeah.
we had it, we had an inclination as to what it was going to be,
Mhm.
and then the next one, you're like, it's good for us, but it's also good for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, by Sunday morning, you're like, oh, that this is now in the balance here.
So,
So
so going into the one before the final, you finished that one second, don't you?
yeah, this was when we actually had a bit of a minor disagreement on.
Oh, really? What
Yeah,
happened?
just as we came off the floor, I think it was like the you start to understand like where you're at,
Yeah.
and we lost that workout because of our weight plate changes.
Right. Okay.
We didn't lose that. We didn't lose that workout anywhere else.
Right.
There was some other things we weren't happy about, but really it was like on the stuff that we could control. It was like we just didn't change our weight plates fast enough.
Is this Archie taking his time like his warm up back in?
No, no. See, to be honest, the way it played out was I had the weight plates where I was,
Hmm.
but rather than throwing, like I should have thrown the weight plates to Archie
Right.
so that he could put them on. But Archie had to like come across,
Right.
take his weight plates and put across, and like I remember watching it back, and the two boys like Harry's throwing them to Johnny.
Yeah.
So like every time we got to the barbell, like for the first two sets, we got to the barbell before them, but they were well into their reps before we ever picked
Yeah.
up. And then the we got to the final set of burpees, and there were like this section, so it was like 21 burpees, and you moved every seven,
Yeah.
and then we were like maybe three burpees in, and they were moving to the next section, and Archie's like, we need to go faster, and I just say to him, I'm like, there's no point. So we just like don't push because like they must have been about 5 reps ahead of us.
Right.
And across the 21 burpees, I was like, we're not catching them. And it was just like, in my head, it was like, save your energy.
Okay. Okay.
And we get on, and I distinctly remember I was like crouched down, and Archie, or I was sat on the barbell, and Archie was crouched down. And I think he, like, correct me if I'm wrong, Archie, but like, he was annoyed. Like, I think he was annoyed because I'd almost like given them the 5 points.
Right.
But in my head, I was like, well, there's no danger that we're going to come third,
Yeah.
but we're definitely not going to win.
Okay.
So I'm just like, yeah, we'll just take second place here and roll into the final. It's like at this point, it's like just save our energy, get off the floor, and worry about the final now. But that again didn't sit that well with Archie at the time, and he told me about it.
You want to add anything there, Archie?
I mean, that's yeah. It makes sense. It's probably another one where, like, looking back, he wasn't wrong. I just could never buy into that, like, during the workout, and that's like,
Yeah.
no matter what, on the last set of burpees, like, we'll be sick, we'll injure ourselves, we'll do whatever, but like, we'll push it to the point. And like, my biggest thing was, one, if we then come second overall that weekend, like, that would have sat with me a lot of like, could we have caught them? Could we have done more? Like, did we actually lose that workout? I've no doubt that Johnny and Harry would have burpeed faster than us, but I still want to try. So yeah, that was definitely a tricky one. And I struggled to see what he was going for there.
Okay.
But I think it was one that was like, he kind of said it at the time, and I was like, as much as I disagreed with it, we weren't going to have a fight on the comm floor, so it was like, that's fine for now. We had our chances to talk about it afterwards.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think for me, it could have been one of those where they tripped over the barbell or something, but it's still like hard to make up five reps. It's like 15 seconds, isn't it? So
it was line burpees as well. So unless they really messed up,
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes more sense. And then the final. I can't see the results for the final, so I don't know the actual placings of where everyone was. So what happened in the final? Because it was Fran, right?
Just like a shortened version of Fran.
Yeah. Yeah.
15, 12, 9
Yeah.
with a slightly heavier barbell at 52 and then chest to bar pull-ups.
Okay.
Or what the chest bar? No, it was just regular pull-ups.
Just normal pull-ups.
Just normal pull-ups. So like
Range of motion workout.
for the two tallest guys in the field, yeah,
Is
not
everyone that short in Scotland or what?
yeah. We are tall though. We basically decided, I think it was that we basically wanted to try and position ourselves Archie versus Johnny and me versus Harry.
Yeah.
And I think the reason for that was that I thought that Archie would have a better chance of beating Johnny than I would.
Okay.
And then from watching Harry do his pull-ups in the warm-up period, I was like, he can't actually, like, his cycle speed was quite slow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have a fast pull-up cycle speed.
Okay.
So I was like, I think that's the right way to go. But really at that stage, it was just like, it doesn't like, you're basically just going as fast as you can. And like, whoever has it between the ears is going to get it.
Was there any smack talk in there before the final? Or was it all nicey nice?
No, I don't actually think any of us said a word to any of us. Like, I don't think Johnny spoke to Harry, and I don't think I really spoke to Archie. But at one stage during the warm up, I was like, my stomach was in knots like I'd never experienced before, and I had to like remove myself from the warm up area. I had to like go and sit in the cubicle in the toilet because I was like nervous. I was upset. I think I was upset because I was like, I think I probably knew it was the last time I was going to take something as seriously as that. So I was like sat and I was like, fuck, like, I don't know if I can do it. Like, I don't even know that I can do the workout, never mind, like, do it competitively.
Yeah.
But then I guess adrenaline takes over. So then we get out onto the floor. And again, I think like there's a quite a telling picture at the end when they have the camera on kind of Harry and I as Johnny and Archie are doing it. And I think like my at that point I can't really do much. So like you can see like there's the odd bit of yeah, okay Archie, yeah, let's go. But really I'm like, I'm not really giving him that much because I'm like, I can only focus on myself right now.
Yeah.
And I think if you were to watch Harry's very animated.
Okay.
Like very animated, like watching Johnny. And I don't know whether that was like, if there is much to like play in that, but I just felt like by that point it was like all that stuff that had happened in the warm-up area like was kind of done and settled, and I was like, well, I just have to go and just give this the best like attempt that I could. And yeah, I just had to stay with him. Like I just had to stay with him until the last set pull-ups.
Yeah.
And I caught him at like when I was running to the last set pull-ups.
Okay.
But I ran to the last set pull-ups and I think he walked. And
Do you want it?
And then I did my pull-ups and it was literally like my bar was down and I was over, and then Harry was over. But what no one actually saw was that kilos got in between us.
Right. Okay. Oh wow.
Because I think actually, otherwise we would have finished level on points.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Wow.
So actually, I owe it to kilos. So kilos, you can see like you none of us were aware because they were on like one of the outside lanes.
Yeah.
But it just goes like me, kilos, Harry, and that gave us the 5 points. I think we would have won it on the number of event wins.
Yeah, they had a lot of seconds. Yeah, I think you're probably
Yeah.
right.
But you never want to leave it up to that.
Yeah, love that. Love that.
So
It's kind of like a new chapter this year. So, Archie, you're going to be competing against your number one rivals from last year. How, like, have you two competed before? Is there already like a bit of chemistry there between you and working together? Because obviously you
Not
trained with Raz for a long time. So,
not really on being on the same team. I actually don't think we've ever been on the same team before,
okay.
as far as I'm remembering. And it is kind of funny because I imagine Johnny would say the same. It's like this time of year for the last 2 or 3 years, we've probably both trained with the intention of being the other person.
Yeah.
So it's like, as much as there's other teams involved, but like from a home perspective of like who's the Scottish team, who do you want to beat in Scottish competition? We definitely had each other's faces on dartboards for sure. So I think being a team, the first 2 sessions definitely took some getting used to. Like, right, how do we both pull in the same direction here? Figuring out kind of each other's paces. Like I kind of learned competitive CrossFit training with Fraser. So it's like most of the stuff that I know, like gymnastics movements, barbell movements, and all the rest of it, like I kind of learned with Fraser or from Fraser. So there's a lot of things that I think that Johnny and I have kind of had to run through that potentially Fraz and I didn't. But then saying that, we're going into it with like far more experience than Fraz and I had at the very start. So it's like, I think there's definitely pros and cons. So I'm interested to see. We've got another training session on Saturday, so hopefully we can make sure that's blending well, and then it'll be good to see what happens.
Have you been watching them while they've been training for us?
I had them down in Turkey the other week there.
Yeah.
And it's just new. So like both of them are obviously like very capable athletes, and it's just like the little things to make sure it's as sharp as possible.
Yeah.
Understanding like Archie's cycle rate tools to bar versus Johnny's cycle, and knowing who's going to make the bigger adjustment to make that work, and stuff like that. But yeah, they're 2 like brilliant athletes in their own right. So you don't have to worry about like carrying each other or anything. It is just like making sure everything's as tight as possible for them going into the weekend. I feel like, unfortunately for them, as we said at the start, is the competition just gets stiffer each year. So Tom and Harry, Dan and Sammy. There's like the male field like has gotten stronger year on year. So like they are going to have that stuff like dialed in really really tight if they're going to give themselves a chance. So.
How do you feel going into this year, Archie? Like, how do you actually, when you compare it to the last couple of years with Raz, like, how does it feel this year?
Same as always, to be honest. I don't think it differs from competition to competition. It's just nerves, which again, like I really enjoy because it fuels the best training I ever have. But yeah, nerves on the way into it. Definitely a lot of excitement of what we can do. Like I've competed against Johnny a fair amount, so like the fact that he's now in my corner, or we're in the same corner, that's quite exciting. So yeah, definitely excitement, but a lot of nerves.
Has there been any heated discussions like there has been in the past between you and Fraz? Has there been any of those yet?
I don't think so, because I think it takes a while for me to get to that point. I think Johnny's probably the same, where it's like, I think the niceties are still there. We're still in that honeymoon period. We've only trained 2 or 3 times together, so everyone's still putting a face on it a wee bit. But I'm sure we'll get to a point, if we do more team comps and things like that, that it will get to butting heads. But at that point, when me and Fraser were a bit more, or the times where we've been a bit abrasive to each other, it's like we see each other 6 days a week from 6 a.m. until 7 p.m. It's like, you're talking to your pal or your family member almost at that point because you see each other more than your family. So, yeah, we're not quite at that point yet.
Right,
I don't think either of them are as blunt as I am.
I would agree there as well.
My
If I,
phone's dropped off. I don't know if I'm about to die.
if I am if I've got something to say about like particularly training that I think needs to change, like people are hearing about it. So
let's let's just change lanes a little bit. So let's talk tactics for next weekend, Fraser. So
yeah,
based off your experience, competing on a team and with Archie, what's the single biggest mistake you see pairs making on the competition floor?
not communicating with each other.
Okay.
Um,
What do you mean by that? Like, do you have an example like that's in your mind where you're like, yeah, a lot of people do that? Do you know what I mean?
so like if someone's struggling, they need to communicate it earlier, or if something doesn't feel like they expect it, they need to communicate it early.
Yeah.
Because usually if they communicate it when they do, it's too late.
Right.
So it's like if someone's fallen off the cliff, they're gone. Like there's no coming back. So if it doesn't feel like how you expect it to feel, then make the call early and communicate with your partner. And then I think that would be the main thing.
Okay. Okay. Archie, the question was, what's the single biggest mistake you see like pairs make on the competition floor from your experience?
Well, takeaway from Marbella just recently. One of the biggest mistakes I saw from quite a few people, specifically in lift events, is if you fixate on a certain outcome, if that outcome comes, then perfect. You've achieved what you wanted to achieve and everyone's happy and you leave the workout, really chuffed. Any other outcome and you're quite disappointed. So it's like a lot of people are going into the 1RM snatch being like, I need to hit this number or I need to get this place. Where it's like if we can just take it section by section, you go through your warm, you focus on how your body's feeling, you focus on what you can control, you focus on what you can do, the chances of a positive outcome are far greater. Whereas I think people get so fixated on, I must hit this and then the workout's good, or I must get this and then I'm happy. Whereas like if you can just focus on what you can control and then take the positives from what you can do, I think you're in a far better place to have a better workout, also a better weekend.
Okay.
So yeah, don't get too fixated on an individual outcome, I think. And
Uh,
goldfish mentality is what Fraser called that.
goldfish mentality. There you go, bro. My next question. How do you communicate during a workout when you're in a hole? For you two, would you actually be able to say something? Would it just be a look that you give each other? How do you two how have you found the best way to communicate when you're struggling?
Uh, there's normally a couple of grunts and a look of panic on my face. Usually, or laterally, was always the case. No, I think people often get this wrong. It's like you just have to communicate aggressively.
Yeah.
Like communicate aggressively on and know that that's just competition. Like tell it how it is. Be direct because then everyone knows where you stand.
Mm-hmm.
But you do come to learn, and like communicating becomes a lot easier the more you work together because Archie, like, do you know, like when you start out, you do like you're doing synchro work, and it's like there's a lot of like calling about getting the timing right, and just the more you do it, and the more frequently you practice, by the end, Archie and I don't actually need to say a word. It's just like when we're there, we're going, and it's like the body language kind of dictates like how long rest you're taking. So start off being aggressive and being direct and making sure everyone knows where you're at. And the more that you do it, then the easier it becomes.
To the audience, then, just first one. With the comp only over a week away, are you slightly sad you're not taking part, Fraser?
Yes and no.
Hmm.
It would have been nice to have been on the floor again with Archie. Despite I think like we obviously took it seriously, but I think and probably one that people should take is it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
So yeah, like for that reason, yeah, slightly sad. In terms of like yeah, not that sad about 2 days of like having to like drag myself through the ringer for 2 days trying to keep up with them. Because particularly now we're at the stage it's like think it'd be slim pickings of things that I would beat Archie on. Once upon a time, maybe not. But yeah, at the minute, I think it'd be pretty slim pickings.
Archie, and this one's for you. How did it feel competing with someone triple your age? Is he gone?
Oh, I think. Luckily, he doesn't have to answer that one.
That was perfect timing for me.
Perfect. And then thanks, Archie. I'm not actually triple his age, guys.
I think we'll wrap it up there, Fraz, to be fair.
Yeah, great.
That was really fun chat. How I'm excited to see how it goes next weekend, especially with Archie just stepping into this kind of next chapter. Is there anything else you're excited for next weekend in particular?
Proving ground's good for the Purple Army.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of GSTers competing, so it'd be good to see where everyone's at. I'm excited. I'm always excited, but like Jen and Ella in the women's field, I think the women's field is so good.
In this women's field this year.
Well, it's basically everyone who's anything of like a CrossFitter in the UK.
Holly and Lucy. Whoa, geez.
Yeah, and then Helen and Kerry who were at the games this year.
Crikey.
So, yeah, the female field
That's good.
is really good. So excited to see how that plays out.
Good.
Obviously, I'm very hopeful that the girls will do the job there.
Yeah.
But I think like it's going to be really exciting to watch.
Yeah, it will. It will.
So yeah, no. The boys put on like a good event. So excited to see the change of venue, like how it's going to be set out and how it looks. So yeah, I'm sure it'll be another good year.
For sure. They put on a good comp, the Dwellian side. Like every year, it's sort of like the feedback from our athletes has always been really, really good. So yeah.
Yeah, I always think like they do one of the best jobs of like making sure the athlete experience is as good as possible.
Yeah.
And then from there, like the rest of the event takes care of itself.
Yeah, for sure.
So Archie's just come back just to answer that question.
Are you ready, Archie?
My phone died at a nice convenient time. Sorry, go for it.
So this is the final question, and then we're gonna log off. Are you ready? How did it feel competing with someone triple your age?
With someone triple my age.
Who asked that?
Anita.
I don't know who they mean.
Oh yeah, very good.
So good. He had lots of wisdom, lots of experience to share.
Archie, I guess last question I just want to ask you is like, what you're most excited about next weekend?
I think the potential to compete with someone new is definitely going to be a new experience. For me, it's like definitely a step into team without kind of the comfort of Fraser, if that makes sense. Like, most of the teamwork I've done has been with Fraser. Obviously, like, there's been a couple of different girls involved in the teams and things like that, but it's certainly going to be a different experience from that perspective.
Yeah.
And then the potential of going for a three-peat is definitely exciting. And then I just enjoy competing. So it's all quite exciting.
Fraz, what's your final piece of advice to Archie and Johnny for this year?
Take it one event at a time.
Very serious there.
Yeah, take it one event at a time.
Cool.
And your best effort is your best effort. It doesn't matter what the outcome on the leaderboard is. It's like you just have to give your best, park it, move on to the next one. It's what matters. It's like what the result is at the end of the weekend that matters.
Yeah, it's great stuff. Thanks, boys. That was fucking epic.
There you go. Well,
have a great bloody weekend next weekend.
Yeah, thanks, Jack.
Let's see it. Right, speak to you soon, boys.
Yeah, see you later on.
Cheers.